hour with us today. We have I'm really excited to share this webinar with you. Our terrific slate of guest speakers will help you learn about events and opportunities around the state that are bringing the magic of reuse to Massachusetts residents. My name is Susan Waite, and I am one of MassDEP's Municipal Assistance Coordinators, or as we are, I hope affectionately called a MAC. Between my co-host Irene Congdon and I, we serve 175 municipalities in central and western Massachusetts, helping them to find ways to reduce household trash. This can be achieved through recycling, reuse, composting, and other methods. The goal is to divert as much valuable stuff from Massachusetts trash as possible, because the cost of trash disposal is increasing, and it makes absolutely no sense to send valuable materials to an incinerator or a landfill. I'm excited today because reuse is an amazing topic. You've heard the concept of a win-win situation. Well, reuse for me is a quadruple win. You and I save money because borrowing or purchasing durable items is less costly than when they've been previously used. You and I win when we access items of better quality or design than we would normally be able to, because in many cases, used or older goods are made of higher quality materials with better craftsmanship than what we can buy or afford to buy today. The third is that everyone in Massachusetts wins when reuse-related jobs are created and the amount of trash we generate is reduced. And finally, the planet and every living thing on it wins when things that already exist are reused instead of using more energy and more of the Earth's limited natural resources to create new items. Today's four presenters will share how they are involved in this quadruple win situation. We'll hear about the reuse of building materials, the reuse of durable household goods, borrowing opportunities, and the opportunity to extend the lives of the items that we already have through participation in community repair events. But first, some housekeeping details. Can you go back? There we go. First of all, this webinar is being recorded. A link to the recording will be sent to you within the next week or so, and will also be posted on the Recycle Smart website. We're going to have some time toward the end of the hour for questions. If you have a question you'd like to address to a speaker, please type it in right away into the chat box. Irene, along with MassDEP Education and Outreach Goddesses, Kathy Dudnoff and Janice Paré, will keep track of questions and will direct them to the presenters when the time is right. I've shown on the screen here, you can see where the chat box is, and please keep yourself muted with your video off. Next slide. Because we're limited to an hour, we'll go at a pretty fast clip. Buckle up, there's lots of good information headed your way. The first presentation is about building material reuse. Massachusetts has a number of outlets for used architectural materials, and one of them is located right near me here in Springfield. Waste reduction consultant Nick DeVito works for the Center for Ecotechnology, which owns and operates Eco Building Bargains. Until recently, Nick worked in the actual store, helping contractors, homeowners, and donors identify and purchase items for reuse or repurpose. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you, Susan, for the introduction, and I'm happy to be here to share my experience from working at Eco Building Bargains. So, hello, my name is Nick DeVito. I'm here on behalf of Center for Ecotechnology, and today I will be speaking about Eco Building Bargains, the largest reuse store in New England, and why reuse and deconstruction matter. The Center for Ecotechnology, or CET for short, is an environmental nonprofit that helps residents and businesses save money and reduce waste. We work with partners across the country to address climate change, and for more than 40 years, CET has offered practical solutions to help save money, increase the health and comfort of our homes, and help businesses perform better. Next slide. Eco Building Bargains is CET's reclaimed building materials store. The iconic green and white building, as shown here, located on 83 Warwick Street in Springfield, Massachusetts, is right off the highway. Eco Building Bargains accepts donations of quality home improvement materials and sells them to the public at a discounted price. Our warehouse is open to the public 6 days a week, and our customers love the unique finds, the higher quality items, and the value of reclaimed pieces that they can find there. If you are located a greater distance and can't make the drive to the store, you can even shop online at ecobuildingbargains.org or at our eBay page. Be aware the online store only represents a fraction of all the items in stock on any given day, so we always encourage you to come down to visit the store or schedule a virtual shopping visit via Zoom or FaceTime. Because our inventory is donated, EcoBuilding Bargains offers donation pickups across New England at no charge, and we also accept donations brought directly to our store. Always call or check the website to see if we are able to accept your particular donation drop-off before loading the car. And as a nonprofit, EcoBuilding Bargains can also provide a donation receipt that you may be able to use on your taxes. Next slide. You can share EcoBuilding Bargains as an outlet for anyone who is doing home renovations, whether it's to donate items for deconstruction projects or to purchase items for reuse. EcoBuilding Bargains has it all. Items such as kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, tubs, toilets, windows, doors, and more. Keeping these good and reusable items out of the trash not only will save money on dumpster costs, but can also provide a cheaper alternative for those looking to renovate or upgrade their space. The photo in the background of this slide is of our sales floor, and after working there for 5 years and seeing this space constantly shift, it is my opinion that people love coming in just to check out what's new. As I mentioned before, because this inventory is always changing, sometimes you come in and find nothing, while other times you come in and find more than what you'd expect. Next slide. So here are just some of the items EcoBuilding Bargains has received throughout the years. Most, if not all of these items left within a few months of them coming in. And because of outlets like EcoBuilding Bargains, as well as customers who are looking to find a deal or build green, these items get a second chance at life instead of being thrown away. As I mentioned, we work with both homeowners and contractors to prevent these perfectly good materials and items from going into the trash and make home improvement more affordable for everyone. I would say our top selling items are windows and doors, but because our inventory is constantly changing, you just never know what you're going to find. You may go in looking for the perfect bathroom vanity, but find the kitchen you've always been dreaming of. The items are researched and priced to the best of our ability, but as a general rule of thumb, all of our items are priced cheaper than what you would find anywhere else. Next slide. I just wanted to take a moment and tell a few stories regarding the items on this slide. In the top left, we see a patio set, which is just one of many items donated from a whole house deconstruction project on Martha's Vineyard. Mind you, we received roughly 5 shipping containers worth of materials and items from this project over a 3-month period. The patio set is in the store roughly a week before it was purchased by someone who was planning to bring it right back to the Cape to be used in their house there. The middle photo is just a really, really cool vintage stove that came in as a front door donation. We normally accept appliances only 7 years or newer, as we have no means of testing the appliances in the store, but this unexpected donation was in impeccable condition, and shortly after we received it, the stove was purchased by a local playhouse to be used in a theater's production. The last photo on the right is a set of display cabinets from a kitchen design store. They were just doing a remodel of their display room and opted to donate these cabinets instead of throwing them away. The cabinets are essentially brand new and made with high quality materials to display the custom style cabinets this particular store would sell. Next slide. There are many ways to make deconstruction and reuse a two-way street throughout our community. Homeowners, architects, builders, and more can request materials be donated or built and used with used materials. When planning your next project, consider building with used materials. EcoBuilding Bargains occasionally receives donations of brand new materials as well, so it's worth checking out even if you currently don't have any projects in mind. I have many items in my store from EcoBuilding Bargains, both new and used. However, my favorite are seen here on this slide, my front and back door. I say they're my favorite because I was originally quoted $10,000 from this construction company to purchase the doors and have them install it. And then when I did some digging, it was going to cost me about $3,000 to just buy the doors from Home Depot, or doors that were kind of similar. But I ended up purchasing both of these doors, which you see the installed and the uninstalled version of them. I purchased them both for about $800 at EcoBuilding Bargains. I also have a picture of my dining room light fixture, which I've done about every light fixture in the house. So there is too many pictures to show there. But next slide. So why does this all matter? Besides saving you money and throwing perfectly good building materials away, by donating, you're also saving the environment. It's this idea of embodied carbon, as it's important to the impact on the environment. Embodied carbon is the carbon dioxide emission associated with building materials and construction processes throughout the whole life cycle of a building. It includes the carbon dioxide created during the manufacturing and transportation of those building materials to the job site, as well as the construction practices used. It also refers to the carbon dioxide produced by maintaining the building and eventually demolishing it, transporting it, and recycling it. It does not include the carbon dioxide from day-to-day energy use. By reusing and retrofitting buildings, someone can save 50 to 75% of the embodied carbon that would be emitted by constructing a new, similar building. Next slide. CET also administers the Recycling Works program for Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. Recycling Works provides free assistance to help businesses and institutions to maximize recycling, reuse, and food waste diversion opportunities. Feel free to contact Recycling Works if you are a contractor, architect, or construction firm that would like help with deconstruction. And that's it.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks so much. Remember to enter your questions into the chat box. Our next speaker is Kimberly Thomas, the CEO of Old Colony Habitat for Humanity, which operates in the greater Attleboro area. Kim leads the Old Colony's building projects and oversees the retail operation, the Restore on Washington Street in Attleboro. Kim is going to tell us about their store and why the concept of reuse of durable household goods is such a winning proposition. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Susan. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. On the next slide, you'll see our Restore storefront on Route 1 in Attleboro. It's 10,000 square foot warehouse and about 8,000 square feet of reusable and donated items. On the next slide. Old Colony Habitat's a nonprofit organization that helps families build and improve places called home. And many habitats across the state have a Restore. And we believe affordable housing plays a critical role in strong and stable communities. Our Old Colony Habitat for Humanity affiliate and Restore serve 24 communities in Bristol and Norfolk County. Our Restore in Attleboro sells new and gently used items to the public. We promote reuse in local economy, and we generate revenue to support Habitat's primary mission around affordable housing. And the next slide, please. And the Habitat Restore are independently owned reuse stores operated by the local Habitat for Humanity organizations. We sell high quality merchandise to the public at a fraction of the retail price. We rely heavily on donations from the public and local companies and individuals within our community. Donating items to the Restore extends the useful life of the item and diverts reusable household items and building materials from the trash. Next slide, please. Excuse me, this is our service area. So we serve anybody from East Freetown, Fall River, all the way up to Medfield and Millicent Medway and in between in Bristol and Norfolk County. And our Restore is in Attleboro, so you can see it's pretty much in the center of our service area, right on Route 1 across from Friendly's, really visible within the Attleboro community. And the next slide, please. So items at the Restore that we sell and accept are furniture, appliances, building materials, plumbing, lighting, electrical, kitchen cabinets, tools, hardware, and small furnishings. So you can see from the left, we had received a grant from the reuse grant for the state to do a couch rack to be able to have more room in our Restore to display more items. And you see we get kitchen tables and chairs. We get really unique items on the bottom there. You'll see a little stand there for the kitchen, chairs. To the right, we get tile. We literally just got 5 pallets of tile from a company that they were, kind of consolidating in their warehouse. So we were delighted to accept that brand new tile. And then light fixtures down the bottom. And the next slide, please. And then also we have small home furnishings. A lot of the store on the left side of the store, we have a lot of shelving with really some unique small furnishings such as dishes and plates and little lightings, just really a lot of unique things that we have at the Restore that really people find as a small treasure. The inventory changes every day, We do pickups 5 days a week, and we're able to really change the inventory, move things around, and display for the seasons. And on the next slide, please. And then we have the small decor. We have the ornaments to the left, and we do like the fall theme. So what we'll do is we'll sell as much as we can seasonally. And then, you know, it's really hard to have the storage. So we do try to mark down items and get them out of the recycling store. So we're able to accept more product and have people take advantage of the beautiful items that we have. We have our sofas and chairs as well. So again, some beautiful items. We have those nice, you know, the stools there, and we have all different types of furniture. So it's really great to see the different things come in the store. I'll go in the store once or twice a week. I work remotely doing the home builds, and when I go in there, I'm always buying things as well and seeing some really unique things that come through. Excuse me, the next slide. And these are the different shelvings that we received through a grant, which we're thrilled to have to offer more flexibility in displaying our materials. So you'll see to the left, we have, you know, a lot of different shelving that we're able to put up on, you know, different shelving, and the displays here for the lights. We get a lot of light fixtures. You'll see the hardware store behind the bin where we have a lot of different tools, and, you know, a lot of people donate some pretty great items. And the next slide, please. And the benefits of the reuse, as Nick was saying, it really, the items are able to go to a new home. The inventory is sold at a greatly reduced price, so everyone's able to really find something, and some definitely treasures here at the Restore. Someone may find something here that they couldn't afford to purchase at a regular store, and finding a treasure that you wouldn't otherwise get from retailers, and, you know, doing it yourself. Like I said, the tile coming in was wonderful. We have hardwood floors that have come in that are brand new, so a lot of great items that come through. Next slide, please. And then receiving donations, we ask that people who bring donations directly to the store do this, and we also give donation pickups, so people can come to the store or drop off. And the number of stops that we do in a given week are limited, so we try to be as efficient as we can. We have people calling every day for pickups. It's quite exciting to be able to reuse people's donations, and it makes them feel good as well as us. A staff member or volunteer at the store can guide people in the right direction when you drop off a donation. And regardless if you want to, you know, either come in to pick up a donation or drop it off yourself, we do provide a receipt with the inventory of the items that are donated for tax purposes. We don't value those items, but we do give the receipt on the items listed. And then this is really a fun slide. We just did this last week. With the holidays coming, we were able to get some really beautiful items. Some of them were donated from the home store. So you can see there's a lot of new items here, as well as, you know, reusable decorations and different pillows and dishes for the holiday season. So that is actively happening in our Restore right today. And the next slide, donating and purchasing items. We sell and accept donations, gently used materials. Our popular items that we sell are sofas, dressers, doors, and gift items. We get items donated from Lowe's and CVS and many other partners in Massachusetts. We don't accept some items such as mattresses and so on, as you see on the slide. It also is listed on our website at oldcolonyhabitat.org. And we rely heavily on the community support through donations, volunteers, and customers. And this is a toolbox that had come into the Restore, and we had one of our you know, frequent shoppers send us a picture of this item as he redid the toolbox, which is really great. He did a beautiful job. So these are just a couple of examples of DIY projects that you can get from the Restore. And then also this beautiful chair. This is actually my neighbor. She called out to me. She said, I want to put something out on my porch. Kim, what do you have at the store? I'm like, go by and see what we have. And then she bought this chair, high quality, and painted it, and she's displaying it in her mudroom. So I asked her the other day, well, please send me that picture from my friend to show you all that. I thought she did a beautiful job. And as far as Restores, I thought it was pretty interesting to see across, there are 912 Restores across the world with almost 8,000 employees. And the 260 tons of materials that would end up in landfills are reused through our Habitat Restores. So that's a really great thing. And I know a lot of people may not know that the Restores, all of them across the state and, you know, across the world, are open to the public. And on the next slide, excuse me, you'll see the different areas of our Restores. We have our Attleboro Restore, and then there are other Habitat affiliates that I work closely with and share best practices. Carver, Falmouth, Northville, Ricker, Lawrence, Leominster, Pittsfield, 2 locations in Worcester. I had seen a comment come through that someone's been to the Ashland Restore, Roxbury, and South Yarmouth. So we share resources, ideas, and sometimes we'll get so much material, we'll reach out to one another and share materials as well. So we have a really great collaborative approach here in Massachusetts with our restores. In our particular restore, these are our hours. Again, a lot of the information is on the website. So you'll see that they're 10 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday 10 to 4, Saturday 9 to 5. We're closed on Sunday and Monday. And really to circle back to what really the mission is around the restore. The next slide, please. This was an impact on the community. We get all of the donated products we're able to recycle, which is fantastic. And then the money that we bring into the restore, the profits go towards building homes and families in Norfolk and Bristol County, just as other Habitat restores do in the other communities. And this past year, we were able to house this beautiful family, a single mom and her 2 children in Attleboro, and we're starting new construction in Norton. So we're really, really busy at Habitat for Humanity of Old Colony and appreciate the time. On the next slide, we do have our social media posts. You can follow us and any of the other restores or habitats across the state, see what items they're selling and what kind of bills they're doing. And really appreciate your time today and excited to see if you have any questions or have been to our restores. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kim. Please put your questions for Kim in the chat box, if you would. Our final topic focuses on ways that we can promote the continued use and reuse of durable household items. We're going to learn how a culture of repair and reuse is being established and promoted in Massachusetts communities. First, we'll hear from Joyce Losick-Yang about a pandemic-inspired activity the town of Andover held, and then Mina Jane will share some great things that are happening at the Ashfield Public Library. As I said Ashfield, it's Ashland, I'm sorry. As Andover's Director of Sustainability, Joyce oversees the town's energy efficiency and sustainability programs, conducting outreach efforts to promote Andover's sustainability goals. Welcome, Joyce.
Thank you, Susan, and it's great to be invited, so I'll thank the organizers for that, and it's great to be with you this afternoon. My name is Joyce Losick-Yang. It's a mouthful. I work for the town of Andover as its Director of Sustainability and Energy. And for those of you not familiar with the Merrimack Valley, we're, I would say, a mid-sized suburban town about 25 miles north of Boston. I joined just about 4 years ago in Andover, and this was one of the earliest experiences I had on the subject of reuse and repair. And it was, as Susan said, it was truly pandemic inspired, and you'll see why. Next slide, please. So we held our bike repair event in 2021, smack dab right in the middle of the pandemic. It was unique in many ways, but among the, sort of the most notable things was that it was a true partnership between sustainability, public works, the library, and Andover TV, our local cable station. We were all looking for ways to connect with our community in meaningful ways during a time when a lot of us were working remotely or stuck at home. But something really dramatic happened, was that people really began to go outside of their home. Maybe that was due to necessity. There's just so much Zoom classwork that you can do with your child. But they really began to explore the wonderful outdoors. More people began to walk and to bike in our community than at any other previous time. And so we were looking for specifically outdoor events, and particularly looking at how to address waste issues and still support our community in a meaningful way. So we decided to look at bike repair. Obviously, repair is a really great way to extend the life of a device or an item. But specifically, folks were really enjoying the outdoors in town, and we want to support them in any way that we can. So this event, we specifically set it low threshold. It was free for anyone to register. We had expert instructor provide the instructions on how to repair your bike. We took care of the purchase of the tool thanks to the grant, the recycling dividend from MassDEP. So you did not have to come with your own set of tools. And we made sure to record the event in case you might need a refresher later on. So we offer this to a limited set of attendees. We couldn't have the event be too big. Otherwise, they wouldn't get the individual sort of attention they might want. And so we invited, capped the registration to 10 attendees who all learned how to repair flat tires and to maintain their bike chains on their own bike. So we encourage people to bring in their own bicycles. So what we emphasized was really safety while they're riding. As anyone who's a rider will know, it's really not fun to be stuck in the middle of your ride and have a flat and then need to be rescued. You may be also far away from cell phone reception. And so for them, what they really gave us feedback on was that it was really great to cover the subject because it gave them enhanced safety while they were enjoying their rides. It also gave a lot of our attendees the confidence to then carry out other regular bike maintenance on their own. And what we hoped was that this culture of repair would start with their bike and then gradually expand to other items that people own in Andover. So you'll see a little, I just want to make the note. Our library was a key partner in this, in that the tools that we purchased for the bike repair event was later then added to the cache of things at our library of things at the library, so that even after the event, folks could access these tools when they needed them for their repair. So the coupling of the library of things with this repair was very synergistic and purposefully done. All right, next slide. All right, so why this particular item? Why this fascination with bikes? And this is still really relevant to all of us today working on climate change. Just even now, even though the sort of the rationale at the time of lease was that there was just basically no stock. Even if you wanted to purchase a bike, there was a global shortage because of the supply chain disruption. So that was at least a part of our motivation for hosting an event, but it still continues to be an important facet to repair bikes. Number one, which may be surprising to some of you, cycling is among the very lowest emission mode of transportation that's available. We know certainly for a fact that there's 10 times less emissions than driving, but perhaps you may be surprised to learn it's even better than walking. So as a sustainability director, my mission is to cut our carbon footprint as much as possible. I want people to stay on their bikes and to use it whenever feasible. Second, a bike can really last a long time. I've had my bike for over 10 years. It can easily last more than 15 years with the proper maintenance and repair. So we're talking about replaceable components like chains and sprockets and brakes and tires. Those little components can really keep the rest of the bike on the road for a really long time. Last but not least, many people own bikes, and we do not want to see folks generating 20 to 30 pounds of waste per bike owner every 5 years, which is sort of the typical replacement rate. We have 10,000 bikes in Andover alone. I'm sure if you're in a bigger city, that number is even bigger. So that's a lot of waste that we could divert if folks learned how to develop a repair relationship with their bike. All right, next slide, please. All right, so for those of you who are sold on this idea of the bike repair, here's sort of a step-by-step event planning guide. first, if you're not a municipal employee like I am, work with your city or town, give them a call, and ask them whether they have applied for and have recycling dividend funds remaining. This is a really low cost event that you can do with a few $100s. The most important part is to find and hire an instructor who is certified to repair bikes. We have the fortunate instructor Dave Ricker in the Merrimack Valley. He's worked with our police on a number of different bike safety events, so very familiar to the area, an excellent instructor who knows all the ins and outs about bikes and who can teach you how to work on your bike. Third, decide on a venue and a date. It's a wonderful thing to do outside while it's warm. And then make sure at that time when you're, honing on the venue and the date to reach out to your local cable access so that you can preserve that learning for the community in perpetuity. Then obviously do all the other fun things that you do with events. You need to advertise, ideally at least 3 weeks prior to get folks out there. And then if your budget allows to, and there isn't a set of tools at your library of things, buy the tools, the repair manual and the bike stand. Those are the three, sort of most important tool pieces that can be shared among the community for the vast majority of the bike repairs that you might want to do. Then obviously is to release that recording so that even folks who couldn't attend your event could find it later on and learn how to do it themselves. All right. Last but not least, I wanted to share with you my contact information in case you have other questions about how to do this event and how to get the rest of your community really engaged and embracing that culture of can do and rolling up their sleeves. Maybe getting a little bit of bike grease on their hands. I want to obviously thank MassDEP for having the RDP programs to help communities really get off the ground in terms of their waste diversion efforts. And if you want to see what was happening in Andover, we have that video link available for you here on the slide as well. Thanks, that's all I have.
Thanks so much, Joyce. It's really surprising to hear that riding a bike is better than walking, and you've inspired me to dust off my bike and get moving. Thank you. We've let's see, Andover chose to focus on a specific high demand repair need. Our next presenters community provides a variety of types of repair assistance at their twice annual events. Ashland Public Library's director, Mina Jane, will tell us about how her organization helps the community share, learn, and extend the lives of household items. Welcome, Mina.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. We've, as you said, we do these twice a year. We've done 3 so far, and it's just a growing need that we see in a lot of communities. So I'd be happy to talk about both the Fix-It Clinic and then our library, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cough, our library of things. Next slide, please. So what is a Fix-It Clinic? It's a movement really to create places that people can come and fix things instead of throwing them away. So the Fix-It Clinic is actually an organization called Fix-It, and the founder is Peter Mew. He's wonderful, super helpful in helping us think about how we want to reuse and recycle and repair, especially, and how we can do that as a community. And I really love that he has this perspective of that you can fix almost anything if you just have as I think somebody else said, the can-do attitude. So a part of the Fix-It Clinic philosophy is to teach people to not be afraid to fix their stuff. A lot of times we're like, oh, I don't know how to, sew on a button. And if somebody shows you, it makes it much less scary. Next slide, please. So as I said, we've done several Fix-It clinics in Ashland. We've had we've had jewelry repair people. We had this, somebody brought in a very old sewing machine from the 1880s. And we had somebody who was able to fix it with, it just needed a new cord to work. And it worked when they left. We've had people who can sew and repair clothing, and as well as just about anything. You can see in one of the pictures, there's a vacuum cleaner and a lamp and things like that. So we never know exactly what we're going to get, but well, that's not true. When we're planning it, we don't know what we're going to get, but people do sign up to bring their stuff. And this all goes through the Fix-It organization, where they have a spreadsheet and you can see what people are going to bring. And the Fix-It clinic people will also help you find coaches. So all of these are the people that you see fixing are coaches that were either found by us in our community or offered to do it through Fix-It. And it's pretty funny because there's some people that just go from Fix-It clinic to Fix-It clinic because they just think it's super fun. So, we've typically had somewhere between 2 to 5 coaches doing all kinds of different things. And the funny thing about them is they just jump in. Somebody's like, I brought this thing and I don't know how to fix it. And 3 coaches will be like, I know how to do that, and they'll all just jump in and fix it. And it's very exciting, both for the people who are getting their stuff fixed and for the people who are fixing things. Next slide, please. So yeah, we have a library of things. This came out of our Fix-It clinics because we wanted to expand the ability for people to fix things at home. But then we realized, and a lot of libraries do this, is that there's an opportunity here for people to to try things before buying them, or to try things or have things on hand that they only need once on occasion. So like, you don't want to go out and buy, a video to DVD converter because you only need that once. So if you get it from the library, then you don't have to pay for it, one. And what are you going to do with it after? How many of you have things in your garages that you bought for a special thing, and then all of a sudden it's sitting in your garage with just collecting dust? So that's the purpose of a library of things. And I didn't want to skip over this, but if you have any questions about how to do a Fix-It clinic, feel free to ask me in the chat, or go to Fix-It clinic, which I will put in the chat as a link. And there's 2 kinds of Fix-It clinics. There's Fix-It and there's Repair Cafe. So you can check into either one of those. Sorry, I went backwards a little bit. So the library of things is a collection of games, tools, electronics, anything that you in your imagination can think, I might need this someday. Next slide, please. So like I said, the Library of Things supports sustainability, I think, in a really meaningful way. We want to do what's called a circular economy, where we're reducing excessive consumption and accumulation. That's what I was saying, is like when you have things sitting in your garage because you used it once and you haven't shared it with your neighbors because you're not sure what they need, and they haven't come to your door and said, oh, I really need a leaf blower or whatever. So this is a way for us to, on a public scale, give the opportunity for people to try things without buying them, or try them before they buy them, as I said. The one-time use thing is very, very important to us. Because I think that a lot of people do this not realizing that they can just borrow. And with a library card, you can borrow for free. So you're not obligated to your neighbor to bring over a pie or anything like that after you borrow their, like I said, leaf blower. You just come to the library, use your library card, which you already have, I hope you have, in your community, and then, use the thing. And then if you love it, let us know. And if you don't necessarily love it, then you didn't waste your money on it. And it's not going to a landfill. You're not just throwing it away. Next slide, please. So this is a list. It's not completely inclusive of things that you might find in a library of things. If you've ever been to the Dover Town Library, they have a massive collection of library of things items, including things like kitchen appliances. And a lot of libraries have tools, which, like I said, came out of the Fix-It clinic movement. With gardening equipment, we do seed libraries during the spring and the fall, where you can borrow seeds, take seeds that have been donated from people who had gardens in the spring, like if you do it in the fall. So that's kind of cool, I think, to be able to share all of that. electronics, toys, games. So how many of you have kids who, they're like, I have to have this puzzle, but it's only going to be used once. And if it's at the library, borrow it, do the puzzle, return it, and then another family gets to use it. So, it's just fun. Art supplies, science kits, craft kits, things that you want to try, like needle felting, you could find at our library of things. It's fun. You don't necessarily have to, like I said, go out and buy it for yourself. And again, I just can't emphasize this enough. It just means that you don't have to buy it. You can just use it. I love this whole community borrowing thing. So next slide, please. We're just going to go into some pictures because you might not know all of the fun things that we have in the library of things, fun and useful. Jewelry repair kit. I think I told you that we had somebody who came in and fixed those little earrings for a girl who had gotten them as a gift from a grandparent and did not want to lose them, so she was able to fix them. I love the portable green screen. I think teens especially love this thing that they can get from the library and check out and see how much fun it is. And then they can decide if it's something that they would use more often, or if they need it for an occasion or a party or something like that. They can take out the green screen and the karaoke machine at the same time and have a really fun day, and I think for some of our seniors, having a video to digital converter is awesome. What we found with this video to digital converter, though, is that you needed to have a VCR to use it. And a lot of people don't have VCRs anymore. So we also have a VCR in our library of things. The ring light, try it. Who knows? You might love it. We're all doing more meetings now. And as you can see in my office, I don't have a ring light. It's kind of yellowish because of the walls. So it'd be nice to try it out and see if it brings up the light in my office. Next slide, please. So we did get a bicycle repair kit, as I think Joyce had said they had for their repair thing. But some of these other things are really great. Like, people don't realize how often they can use a button. And they love using our button maker when we take it to outreach events, and they want to borrow it, but we don't lend out our own. So we actually got one for the library of things. And so now, like, we've had students take it out when they have, an event that they want to give out buttons to or whatever. And they just think it's a blast. They have like a little, I guess party is the thing. They have a little bit outing of like making buttons for everybody. My favorite thing on this list, though, is the roof rake, because, how often are you going to use a roof rake? Not that often. So if you can borrow from the library, and I think a few years ago, and we had a very bad snowstorm, they were sold out. You couldn't find them. And I think this came up earlier too, is that, with the bike repair kit and bikes, they were just out, supply chain issues. So borrow a roof rake from the library. You'll only probably need it once or twice a season, but it'll save you a ton of time and money. Next, please. And the fun stuff, this is probably my favorite slide, is you can get an adult and child metal detector from our library of things. If you're going on vacation and you just want to take it out for a couple of weeks, try it. You might find treasure, you might not, but you'll have a great time with your kids, right? And ukuleles, who doesn't want to learn the ukulele? It's super fun. And we also try to stay on top of current interests, like things like pickleball. Pickleball is huge right now. And we want to make sure that people can play without having to, purchase a set, because sometimes, again, there's an equity issue here as well. Although I make it sound like super fun, it's also giving people who don't have the ability to buy things the opportunity to use things that they might not be able to purchase. So, again, super fun, but it's also something mission-wise a library, really, really likes doing. So all of these are things that the entire community can use, again, with just your library card. So next slide, please. So if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Like I said, we've done several Fix-It clinics. We've always had a great time. And you can also check out our entire list of library things at this website. And I'm sure if your library has one, you'll get such a kick out of it. So check it out if you can. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mina. I just have a few more slides to share before we open things up for questions. If you have questions for Mina, please put them in the chat. We've heard from two communities who've used two similar but different models for repair events. Part of the beauty of a repair event is that the key ingredients are pretty basic. You need only knowledgeable people who know how to fix things. I like to call them fixperts, and a site. Beyond that, one has lots of freedom as to how to implement the program. Next slide, please. Both Andover and Ashland chose to employ repair models that engage the owners of the items in the actual repair process. Learning how to fix something is empowering and hopefully encourages further exploration. But sometimes fixperts are uncomfortable interacting with or teaching people, or they need more time than a short face-to-face session allows, or there's a global pandemic that prevents people from gathering together. In such cases, a non-participatory model where fixperts fix things without owner involvement works beautifully too. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Community repair programs can be organized by a municipality, or they can be organized by a civic group like a Rotary Club, a neighborhood or faith organization, or a Girl Scout troop. In Western Massachusetts, we even had a great repair program that operated for a few years in 3 different communities that was organized by a single individual. It doesn't require a lot of money to operate an event, but resources are required to get a program running and to promote it to the public. That's why it tends to be easier for established organizations to start programs. Municipalities have an added advantage. Grant funds are available for repair event expenses and Library of Things purchases if they participate in MassDEP's Recycling Dividends grant program. That being said, some repair programs are funded by donations and or financial assistance from community organizations. So there's lots of different options out there for you. I'd like to share some information about a different repair event model in Bedford, Massachusetts, where the Fix-It Shop has been operated by the city's Council on Aging for over 15 years. So the city of Bedford has a clinic, and there is a minimum fee of $3. And they have retirees and non-retirees, a mix of people that work there. They fix electric appliances. They don't do a whole lot of electronic material, but they do a lot of different kinds of electric things. They sharpen garden tools and knives. They work with wooden furniture, lots of different things they offer. Next slide, please. They're open 2 days a week, and they're open to the public. I was even told that they will help people outside of the city of Bedford, so you don't even need to be a resident. And like most repair events, there are no guarantees that your item is fixable, or it can be fixed or will be fixed. But really, what do you have to lose? Especially if it's a beloved lamp or something that you just adore. One of my colleagues was just talking about a suitcase that she had that she worked really hard to get fixed over and over again because she loved the suitcase so much. So it really, there's very little risk involved. If you're going to throw it away, why not try to fix it and extend its life on the planet? An online resource created this repair manifesto, and I just love it because it beautifully sums up why the act of repair deserves attention. It requires creativity. It makes consumers into contributors. It's more sustainable. There's just so many different reasons why repair is a beautiful thing. Next slide. So I'd like to share a few resources that are available for those of you who'd like to find repair events near you or are interested in starting a repair movement in your community. Mina mentioned the Fix-It Clinic. They have a terrific website, as does the Repair Cafe. These are both organizations that help people start repair events and help people find repair events near them. They have either calendars or maps that help to help connect people. And as Mina mentioned, the Fix-It Clinic will even help you find fixperts to help staff your event. iFixit is an online community of repair people interested in repair. They have chat rooms where you can talk with people who know how to repair things, and they have a super extensive library of fix-it manuals, of owner manuals and books about how to fix things at your disposal. So it's another really terrific resource. And then finally, MassDEP has some information on their website, and I've listed the URL of the website below. And if somebody can stick that into the chat, that would be awesome. If you're looking for an event near you or in your community, it's really easy just to do a search with the name of your municipality and fix or fix it or repair cafe. Really super easy way to find out what's going on near you. Let's see. With that, we are ready for some questions. Irene, Kathy, and Janice, what do we have?
Yeah, we've been having a lot of great questions going on in the chat, which is just so fun, and everybody's talking about reuse. One thing I think we always kind of go backwards, starting with Mina, because she was the last speaker, and everybody's talking about the tool library. And one thing that I noted that I think I want to publicize is you have a luggage, which I've never actually seen this, a luggage scale. And I automatically saw that and go, I need to borrow that, not for luggage, but when I do waste audits. So when you do a waste audit, you want to weigh the bags of trash. And it's always like trying to put something on a scale and finding the right size scale that you want to put somebody, and nobody wants to be the guinea pig to be the hold the bag and weigh the bag or try to maneuver the bag. So just literally, I used to do like a fish scale, and to use a luggage scale is like perfect. I'm like, so need it. We all need it. I'm so glad you have it. That could like change everybody, because everyone's like, how many bags? Because you count bags, and it's not the same as when you do the weight of the bags.
Mhm.
And so just another idea, maybe when you're writing it down, you can say luggage/trash audit scale. I just love that. You've been answering some of the questions, but I think everybody else wants to know, for liability, for certain things, like, do you do power different things that have batteries and that are maybe a little sharper? I don't think you do any like knives or anything like that, but I just didn't know if there are certain liabilities that you have to worry about with the tool library.
That's a good question. I think that for a library, anything that is borrowed from the library is under the liability, under the insurance of the library. So if somebody was to get hurt or something, they could certainly come back and say, I got electrocuted by your power washer or something, and we could figure out what happened. But yeah, generally they're taking it out on their own sort of recognizance, and they don't sign waivers or anything like that, except for the cost of the thing. But yeah, we always give out the batteries that are associated with whatever item that they're taking out. We don't expect people to buy their batteries either. And we do use reusable batteries so that we are not just throwing anything in the landfill. But that's a very good question, Irene. And I think every town should probably has a different perspective on that.
Yeah. And then you do say, as some products, you do have some type of waiver, or if they have to return it, so they need to sign something.
Yeah, just because if you're taking out the telescope, which costs like $700, you definitely want somebody to know that that's the case, because if they lose it or break it or something like that, it would be very, very costly for them to have to, and we have contingencies for that, so people shouldn't have to worry too much. But yeah, there are late fees for our library of things. Some things are very much in demand.
Yep, we have that for our American Girl dolls, which is just so fun that you can only use them for a week because they go so fast. And we do have to say, this is exactly what's in the box, because it can be lost in the house. So we want to know that. How much space do you use when you have events? So when you have your repair clinic, how much space do you utilize that in the parking lot, or do you use a field? Do you use inside the library? So just a little more on your setup.
We do it inside. We have a meeting room that seats 90, and but we put up maybe 7 or 8 tables where each coach can be. And so they, they set up with their sewing machine or their tools or whatever. And yeah, so we usually have about 8 tables set up in our large meeting room. But I know people do it outside. Joyce, I know you did yours, and did you have a place that you could go inside if the weather had been bad?
No, we did it right next to our town offices. And it was a beautiful day, so I didn't have to worry, but I could easily see setting up a few tents over the parking lot in case there was a drizzle. But you could still do it outside. But we picked June because we knew that the chances of rain were fairly low. So that was part of the reason for doing it in June.
Okay, for Kimberly, there was a question, I think you answered some of it, was adding reuse and repair to some of the things that you have and expanding to like job development. I didn't know, you said you worked a little bit with some high school students, but I didn't know if you worked with others as well, or
I don't
if
know if
you're
you can
thinking
hear
about
me.
it.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yep.
Good, because I have my headset. Excuse me. So we have worked with high schools at the job site and also at the restore. And then some of our volunteers will come in and help do repairs as well and help us with some of the items. But we do pretty much take items that may not need as much repair to resell, and people will fix them themselves. I think, is that what you're asking? Hopefully I'm answering the question.
Yeah.
Okay. It'd be great to have something other than that too, to take in the items that could use a little bit of TLC and do it that way. We're very limited with staffing, but I'd love the idea.
I know it's always limited by staffing and space. Always been a
Yes.
space issue of where to take stuff. Nick, this is one of my questions. Is I know you've been there. You were in the rebuilding for a long time. When you had contractors come in, what did they ever say about the building materials that you would get? That
So
did they appreciate it? I'm assuming so because they were there, but
yeah, so they would always come in for like the good deals because they know what they're buying anyways. So like versus them going to Home Depot, and we would have contractors, like I got to know a lot of guys that would come in, guys or gals that would come in religiously, like on a weekly or multi-day basis, just to check and see what came in, because if they could pick it up at Eco Building Bargains for the fraction of a price that they would be paying if they had to go to Home Depot, like I don't know if they were necessarily passing that savings on to the customer. I would hope that they would be, but they definitely were saving some money. So if it helped out their business, maybe they were able to do more, or they could provide a higher quality item to who they were serving. But it's always funny with contractors because it kind of depends on the contractor if they are willing to use reuse items. Some of them just want what they want when they want it, and unfortunately in most reuse operations we can't guarantee what we have. But if they're willing to take the trip there daily, or if they work in the area, it's definitely worthwhile for them because they're going to save money if they pick up anything.
I think
I'm
that's
going
a
to jump
true-
in. I'm going to
Yep.
jump in because we said we were going to last an hour and we're reaching the end of our hour. If some of you would like to stay on to listen to some more questions being answered, we can stay for a few more minutes. But I wanted to send a special thank you to our presenters. It's one thing to be part of the reuse effort, and it's another to take the time and effort to participate in a webinar telling people about it. So thank you, and thank you to our audience for participating today. And we can take a few more questions.
I think we got most of the questions. I was just thinking that it's just so key that a lot of reuse sometimes doesn't happen if you don't talk to your contractor to know I prefer reuse. They won't do it if you don't talk to your architect and talk about that I want, because sometimes most of these products are better quality than if you buy new today. They're just made with a lot more real wood, real springs, real nails. It just seems like a better quality in a lot of cases, and that's why they're there for reuse. But we have to specify it, and we do have the grants. So that was one of the things we didn't really talk about. It is in the chat that the micro grants for the library, for the organizations, for the nonprofits, for the communities, And the towns have RDP money that they could use to help support reuse and support and create shelving or things that you need for your library of things. But I think we got everything, and it will be in the presentation when we do recording. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Go forth and reuse.